Right, we're live, dear community. Today we have all the way from Kenya, Sharon Waswa, all the way from Nigeria, Ikenna and Ezenwa, and all the way from Nigeria as well, Victoria Ojonugwa John. Both Ikenna and, or rather, Victoria is attending a conference already right now, and her camera is off. We'll excuse her for that, no problem, but we'll hear her voice. These are three great people, three great voices. Our topic today is the power of choice, right? That's our motto this year. And the real topic, what we get deeper into, is called making the right choices as youth. And I'm so thrilled to have the three together. They have something joining them together, and that's the Yalcon conference in Nigeria coming up in September. We'll talk about that. Sharon, welcome. Happy you're here.
Thank you.
Are you tuning in from Nairobi?
Yes. I'm just in the outskirts of Nairobi, so I'm
All
happy to be
right.
joining from home. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, is it okay if I say you are a learning and development specialist?
Yes. That's correct.
That's correct.
Um, yeah.
Fantastic. And Ikenna, is it okay if I say you empower youth? You are a youth advocate, or which title would you prefer? Ikenna, I'm not getting
Yeah,
you.
I'm youth developer and also youth empowered.
All right. All right. And Victoria, you are also a Pan-African voice and youth developer, I think. How would you describe your title right now, Victoria? If you're getting us, just unmute and let us know.
Your question.
What's your title? Is it okay if I say you are an advocate for youth leadership? Dear community, we are having technical problems, but I think Sharon is nodding and saying, yes, that's true. So let's move on.
Yes.
But very nice. You guys, I
Yeah.
love your mission, empowering youth, being that good role model. And today we want to just hear your voices. Dear community, we'll talk about these 3 points. Why is decision making so critical in shaping the lives of youth, of young people? And as Ikenna wrote this morning, we are the products of choices we make, right? And what influences youth decisions from family, society, and culture to career pressure. And at the end, what roles can government, organizations, and civil society play in empowering youth to choose with clarity, courage, and vision? And dear community, if you have something to add, any experience, any question to these three powerful voices, please join and comment from wherever you are, either from YouTube or from LinkedIn. Now, before we proceed, Sharon and Ikenna and Victoria, please tell me something, Ikenna, about Sharon, something positive. How would you describe her? Ikenna, are you getting me? Okay, Sharon, I'll ask you. I'm
I
seeing
think you
you and
froze.
your picture is not frozen. Can you please describe Ikenna and
Yes.
Victoria shortly?
I think I would describe Iken as being
I would
driven. I
describe
think.
Sharon.
Hmm.
Can
Go
you
ahead,
continue?
Iken.
Yeah. I said I would say that she is youth developer and
Ikenna, maybe you do away with your picture, with your camera, so that we get you more clearly. In the meantime, let Sharon describe you.
Okay, I will describe Iken. I think Iken is the most driven person I know, and I also think
Mm-hmm.
he's a high risk taker. I have not
Oh,
met
wow.
Iken in person. He reached out to me on LinkedIn, and somehow we've been able to build something without even meeting. But a lot of times it's been effort on his part. his ability to, conceptualize things, to follow up, to, ask questions, accept that he doesn't know, and so on is intriguing for me. Especially as young as he is, it takes a lot of courage to do that when you're young. So yeah, I would say he is, yeah, a unicorn, literally. So
I
that is
love
how I
that,
describe
Sharon.
it.
A
Victoria,
unicorn.
yeah,
Yeah. Driven, just shortly
yeah,
driven, and a risk taker, He chooses to
yeah. No
take the
one, no
risk
one
and
speaks to
own that.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. What about Victoria? Please go ahead.
Victoria is an implementer. I would describe her as being very good at getting things done, and that's why they make a very good pair. Because Ikenna has big ideas and is very good at conceptualizing and also very good at implementing. But Victoria is a manager, quote unquote, because she's a systems person, so she knows how to put things in place and get those ideas into action. So she is also a creative. So yeah, that's how I would
Creative,
describe Victoria. Yeah,
managing, making things happen. So it's like the strengths complement each other, and that's powerful.
yeah. Hmm.
Powerful. Love, love that. Thank you so much, Sharon. Amazing. Ikenna, can you now describe Sharon?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
And I would say that she is a youth developer as well, and she loves initiative that concerns young people. So we
Mm.
reached out to her last year. We told her about what we are doing, and since the first day we met and we discussed, she has been so zealous. Like her zeal even drives me most at times. I would just be like, I need to get this done because I definitely know she will ask me of the level of productivity and what I'm doing. And, I disturb her a lot anyway. I disturb her a lot. But there is one thing about her whenever you reached out, whether she's supporting financially, whether she's supporting emotionally, whether like otherwise, she has been there. And whenever when I told her about the Yacon conference, she bought the idea. Yesterday, we had a lot of series of meetings. She left most of her work to join. Like, I would say that overall, she is a youth lover as well. And just once she has heard anything about young people, count her in for the positive response. So
Count
cheers to
her
you, ma.
in. She is committed. She takes responsibility. She is proactive. Oh, I love, love, love that. You guys, oh my God, I'm so happy to hear that because if I hear that from the youth, I'm like, the future is really bright, right? Thank you so
Yeah.
much. So we've lost Victoria, dear community, but we are here. Victoria, you can comment or do something. And now let's go to our first question. And I'll start with you, Ikenna, now. If you think that your camera is taking a lot of your data, you can get it out and we hear your voice. Why is decision making so critical in shaping the lives of youth people? What do you think? I'll start with you, and later on, Sharon can add something on that. Ikenna, please.
Am I clear enough? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, just like I said this morning, we are products of the decisions we make. So it's very paramount that every young person looks and takes decisions they make very seriously because decision making can either make or destroy a young person. For example,
Sure.
decisions you make at your early 20s can be a good one for you or a bad one for you in your 30s and in your 40s. So I've also been faced with tough decisions when I was in university. There are days where you are faced with making decisions whether to get this done or maybe not getting it done. There are days where you feel like, oh, I'm tired of this, my dream. How can I drive this dream? So it is in those moments of toughness that you describe whether you are to make the right decisions or to make the wrong decision. And one thing about decision making is that it is very, very, it has effect on us. Whether you make the good one or you make the bad one, it doesn't care to know about the one you have made. What it concerns is that you must have the consequences of the decision you have made. So that is one thing that strikes me about decision making. It doesn't say, it's not emotional to start, oh, this boy is making a wrong decision. Why not correct him? Why not? No. If you like, you make the right decision. If you like, make the wrong decision. The consequences and the aftermath will definitely come. So seeing that aftermath comes when we make decisions, it becomes imperative for young people to pay attention to the kind of decisions they make, the kind of career you want to venture in, the study you want to do. Even if you want to maybe achieve academic excellence, it takes decision. You are the one to decide, okay, should I go for this? It comes to a point where you have to make a decision whether should I go for this or shouldn't I go for this? I'm tired, I cannot continue, I want to give up. It's in those days of being faced with tough decisions that whatever you say will either make or be a disaster for you. So that is why it's very
I
important that whenever we are
love
faced
it.
with those tough moments, we make the right decision. So decision making is very important as young people. Thank you.
Decision making as it is important. Whether they were wrong, you can prove that later or right. But the point is, what you're putting across, Ikenna, is that you have to own it, the consequences, be responsible. And the good thing is you can always change your decision. So if you own it, you can always change it and you don't blame anyone. I love that. Thank you, Ikenna. Sharon, something to add on that?
I think Ikenna has described it very well. What I can just add is that a lot of times when people describe young people, when people describe African youth, they speak about as being people of, sitting on the sidelines or not. We have all this potential, we have all these opportunities, but we are not making any actual impact. And I think the missing factor is the ability to decide and say, okay, guys, we've spoken enough, we've suffered enough, because we are always victims of circumstances. And just take the decision and say we need to, either own our mistakes or stand up for this cause, or just do something, not sit on the sidelines. But it's been refreshing to see in recent years that a lot of young people have become tired of being, victims of circumstances, allowing other people to make our decisions, waiting for our turn to make decisions, and just making the decisions at the point that we are, as young as we are, with the knowledge that we have, however little, and just doing something. And I think recently in Kenya, we saw when we had governance challenges, we saw young people taking a stand, and a lot of them didn't even know how best to do it, or no, they just took a stand and said no. We really think this is not working. Back then, we were fighting the finance bill, if you remember, and they said, no, things are tough. There has to be another way. We do not know the other way, but there has to be another way. And that opened up a whole dialogue, a whole rethinking. So surely there was another way. There was an option to just sit and say, not our monkey, not our business. It is, the working class that needs to work on this. But it took the voice of young people to say, no, guys, we need to do things differently. And I think we should learn from that, not just from, governance issues and everything, even in our own lives, we should learn from that.
We're now losing Sharon, but I think I know what you wanted to say. Not only the government setup, but also for their own personal life. I think, as you can also say, for your career, for your growth, for the family. Love it, love it. Uh, Now, what Sharon added was also being tired, saying enough is enough, and then raising your voice, even if you do not know the way forward, but you know there is need for a change. So standing up and making that change, that's very powerful, right? Because we don't want to be victims. We don't want to tell our kids, oh, I was a victim till I was 50. I mean, no one wants to hear that. So I love that. Right, amazing. Anyone listening, please comment on this LinkedIn Live post so that we know that you are hearing us. And I can't see any comment yet, but sometimes it doesn't work really clear. So just give us a test comment. Nothing will hurt you, and we know that you are listening and hearing as well. Victoria, Before we go to the second point, do you have something to add on that? Are you able to speak?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I hope you can hear me loud and clear. But from what everyone has said, I believe that's exactly what it is. And I feel we all need to have a certain level of, decision making ability to be able to make something happen.
Victoria, we are not
So
getting you
I'm
well. It's really disturbing. Sorry for that. Please write in the
I'm
private chat and we'll say what you wrote. All right? Because of the background noise. Thank you. All right. Now let's go to our second point as Victoria adds something on that on the private chat, and we'll let you know what she said. Sorry, Victoria, for that. Next time it will surely work better. What influences youth decisions from family, society, and culture to career pressure? This time I'll start with you, Sharon. And before that, someone has just shown us that he or she is listening, learning, and loving all I'm hearing. Thank you so much, LinkedIn user. Let us know who you are.
Yeah.
Right. Second question. Sharon, what influences youth decisions? What do you think from family,
Yeah,
society, culture, or anything else that's not listed here,
I
please?
think Yeah, I think as individuals, a lot of things influence how we make our decisions and what decisions we make. When we were born as part of a family unit. Most of us, I assume, all of us, I would like to think, a part of a family unit, part of a society. And in that society, there is culture. There is some of us, most of us are born into some form of religion, some form of organized religion.
Mm,
Could be Christianity, could be, there are a lot of
mm,
things that shape how we make our decisions, things that we would say give us a moral compass. And a lot of
mm,
times, these factors, they either hinder our ability to make decisions or take a stand, or they would actually enhance our ability to make these decisions. For example, if you're born in a family where you are allowed to, or I come from the Western, or part Kalenjin, part Luya. In, say, a patriarchal society, a lot of times as a girl or as a woman, your decision making, I would say, would be, in the era that I grew up in, would be hindered, because your goal was to let other people take the decision. You'd be told to calm down, shut up, let the elders make the decision for you, or let other people. You would even have valid points, but you would not get the opportunity to raise those. You'd be told to please go to the kitchen, make yourself busy, get useful. It is not your turn to make decisions. So what that does, it would stifle, because then you grow up, you would want to say something, and then you'll think, guys, let me go make myself useful. I'm useful elsewhere. Other communities may be different. Some people may have grown up in the same culture, same environment that I grew up in, but maybe in their families there was, you know, a freer kind of environment where they would go around asking people, young people, their what they thought. That would be interesting to know if there are some of people my age who anyone asked their opinion while they're growing up. But then things change really fast, and you go from not being allowed or not being included in making decisions, and then you're thrown into this world. Maybe you move to Nairobi, like I did for my undergraduate, and suddenly I have to make my own decisions. For example, what to eat, simple things as what nutrition things to follow. And there is a lot of people out here advising me, and I have no idea. I do not know how to now make my decisions now that I have the opportunity. So there is a very interesting, sharp discontinuity between not making decisions or being told to shut up and wait for your turn, and then your turn is finally here, and no one prepared you for the big decisions that you have to make, the consequences that they're there. You do not know how to own the consequences. Like we said, you make your wrong decisions, the world beats you up for it, then now you're even more scared to make any decisions. And then you stay in this limbo, and then time flies, and then you're not young anymore. Like me, you're on your way out of youth. And it is a very confusing, I would say, kind of situation young people find themselves in. So it is interesting to find, platforms where youth are told, make your decision, just do something. It could be wrong. No one is saying it is right. There is no right or wrong. You like Ikenna correctly put in the first place, you make a decision and you own the consequences. And I think a lot of people, family, society, people around us would be nicer and let people make their decision. One of my friends, I think we in last year told me, please let me make my mistakes. And I think that is one of the most powerful things she ever said. Nowadays, I let her make her mistakes, her decisions, she owns them, and she learns from them. And she makes better decisions. I would say, okay, I'm not sure if they're better, but at least she makes her own decisions. So I think,
Sharon, that's so
yeah,
powerful.
yeah.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
really
so that
powerful.
that is what I would say about.
Hmm, you're putting a lot of aspects
And Susan, we've not
together
even to
from,
the workplace. Yeah, and we've not even gone to the workplace, because then you go to the
I
workplace
know
and then you're told to stand up for yourself, to set boundaries.
you
Guys,
can't.
I cannot speak for myself. My boss makes my decisions. So for you to tell me that I have ability or opportunities, or their decisions I should make as an individual, and also talk to my boss and speak about them in a nice way, in a non-defensive way, that is all strange. There is a lot of work that needs to be done there to prepare young people from going from being children in the African society to being decision makers or adults, not just throw them into the deep end and tell guys, things need to change. Yeah.
Wow, Sharon, that's so powerful, amazing. I can't stop listening to you. It's just because of time. But let me just wrap up. You're putting a lot of aspects together, being formed from the youth, from the way the family upbringing, the culture, know your place. But sometimes your place is to be too quiet, and then you don't learn how to make your own decision. You don't learn how to own your mistakes. So when you are thrown somewhere, you go somewhere alone, you start all over, and it's very good that you are aware of that so that you learn step by step. And also you listening to others, as your friend said, let me make my mistake. It helps you reflect again, right? And then it helps
Yeah.
to give people the how do you say, the space. Because the way you did
Mm.
get the space, it could be if you do not reflect, that's what we pass on to our kids, to our younger sisters and brothers, and to your younger employees anyway. So
Yeah.
I'm so happy you are really reflecting, and yes, there's still a lot to do. I'm so happy the way you put it all together, Sharon. That's so powerful. Wow,
Thank you so
wow, amazing,
much.
amazing. We've lost Ikenna and Victoria. Please keep on writing something on the chat or on the comments, and we'll add them to what we have here. I can see we also have uh, Fabio. Thank you so much, Fabio. Great Susan, best record from start. Cool. That's Switzerland. Sharon, have you ever been to Switzerland?
No, not yet. I hope I'll be able to go. I'll have to make a decision to book a flight and go to Switzerland.
I
So
love it.
we'll
You're
get
so,
there.
you'll have to make that decision and then you'll make it happen. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
country, very beautiful country.
Mhm.
And here is Timmy Sin from Kenya. Hello, it's Martin from Kenya. I'm glad to be here today and learn a few about decision making as a youth myself. Thank you so much for being with us and for making this possible. Right, fantastic. And replying to Sharon, LinkedIn user is saying sometimes it could actually feel like you've got it covered until you have the space to decide, and then you start to weave.
That
Yeah,
is very true.
yeah,
It happens to all of us.
it
But like they say,
happens.
you
Yeah,
make the decision, even afraid. I
you,
think if you
yeah,
know, if the consequences are not as, when we think about decision making and making the wrong decision, a lot of times it's painted as a do or die kind of situation.
yeah,
I think when we are allowed to make our mistakes, then you do it quivering, and then we'll tell
yes,
you it's okay. We've
yes.
been there, done that. And a lot of people need to tell
It's like,
us more that they have made wrong decisions and they've survived, so that we do not feel like, yeah, if we make a wrong decision, we'll die.
no,
So I
because I
agree with the
always
user
I
that,
say, Sharon, what's the worst that can happen? And if the worst is
yeah,
not bad enough, my goodness, you're not going to die. You're just going to learn.
yeah.
Wow, wow. This is amazing, amazing. Ikenna, do you have something to add on what Sharon said? If you missed it, our question was, what influence youth decisions? Sharon talked about upbringing, the culture, the religion, all that form you, not having the space. And then if you have to do it, then you fear. You don't even know how to stand up for yourself. So Ikenna, something new to add on that, please?
Well, I would say that the society we find ourselves has a way of influencing our decision and choices. For example, if you find yourself in a society that is culturally inclined with maybe women don't do that, women don't do the other one, you find that you end up being constrained to achieving your full potential. You know, I've come to learn that most of the things we see is just culturally orchestrated, where people just come, okay, women don't do this in society, women don't do that in society. It ends up making them not maximize their full potential. You see a young
That's
lady, she
true.
wants to go into engineering. Due to the society has conditioned it to be as if it's just left for men. They will maybe leave that course, and it keeps affecting their full potential. So the society has a way of bringing constructs that just constraints that just stop people from maximizing their potential. And when those things are there, you find out that it affects the kind of decisions we make. And I did a study and one of studies in one of my borrowed course then in the university in psychology, where we were taught about classical conditioning, which was propounded by
Hmm.
Skinner and Pavlov. And he said that at early age, people are conditioned by the way their society is. For example, if you are growing up, you don't have the power to change the kind of language you speak. You speak that language because that is the immediate environment you have found yourself. So you just have to flow with it. While you are growing, you just you learn by repetition, you learn by doing, you learn by observation. So when young people find themselves in such families that are maybe constrained in doing something in a particular way, or they find themselves in society that is constrained in doing something in a particular way, it shapes the kind of decision they make. You cannot make a decision outside the environment you find yourself. It takes external factors. And I learned that we have two kinds of motivation: the intrinsic motivation and the extrinsic motivation. So for you to determine the kind of career you want to venture in, you first of all need the intrinsic motivation, which motivates you from the inside. I want to do this and all that. But you cannot maximize and leverage that full potential without the external, the extrinsic motivation playing a complement role. So, for example, I want to become a doctor, and my father is saying you must become a lawyer. It becomes a problem. I have the motivation intrinsically, but extrinsically, my father wants me to be a lawyer. So it becomes an issue. So I cannot maximize my potential. And also the
That's
cultural background
true.
we
That's
find
true.
ourselves. I keep saying that why most of us are Christians, why most of us are Christians is because we have been born into a Christian background. We found ourselves in this area. Then there are some people that are in the Islamic world. That is the place they have found themselves. So the cultural backgrounds we find ourselves also shape the kind of culture the kind of career we venture in, the kind of decisions we make. And overall, I think the last one is career pressure. For example, you get to the university, a lot
Hmm.
of pressure on you. You want to do that in your career. You want to do this. So it all comes together to influence the kind of choices we make. So, for example, let me portray something in the career aspect. For example, if I want to become an engineer, the kind of choices I make will be different from that who wants from people that want to become a doctor. I don't have to start going to buy the textbooks of docs in the doctoral field. I need to buy the one that will be tailored to the career choices I have made. So career has a way of influencing our decision. If I want to be a public speaker, just like what we are doing this morning, I will not go and be watching sleeping while others are reading books and watching other public speakers. So I need to venture into what aligns with my career and my purpose. So the career you have chosen also has a way of influencing the decisions you make, because you cannot live in a future you have not pictured today. So you need to picture it today, work towards it, and become it tomorrow. And it has a way of influencing the choices you make. So let me just draw the curtain here while we continue. Thank you
I
very much.
love, love, love that. And before you do that
Thank you.
visionary work, or while you do it, you have to free yourself from that classical condition, right? You have to be aware of that and free yourself from that. You know, I love,
Exactly.
love, love that. Oh my goodness, powerful too. Amazing, amazing. Let's move on to
Thank
our
you.
third point because of the time. And we also talk here about what's joining you together at the YALCON conference. So I'll start with you now, Ikenna. What roles can government, organization, and civil society play in empowering youth to choose with clarity, courage, and vision? And in this case, we're assuming that if maybe the family is still very traditional, very religious, very conservative, but there are other places you can join, other communities to lift you up. So, Ikenna, please, what roles can these organizations do so that the youth choose with clarity, courage, and vision?
Well, I would say that the civil societies and organizations have come to play a role in making sure that young people maximize their potentials. Most times we don't expect it from government because it seems lately that governments are not coming in full force to rescue us. But I'm so glad that civil societies are now coming in full force to do the needful. You have a lot of organizations now that come together. They are into youth empowerment, talk of Young African Leaders Initiative, talk of Young African Leaders for Global Impact, our own organization as well. So what these organizations, the role they have to play is to find those young people that have got these potentials and see how we can maximize it. Because definitely
Mm.
some, many people have got potentials in their communities, they have got potential, but nobody to bring them to limelight, nobody to make their voice to be heard. I was telling somebody yesterday, I said most times we may not have the money to travel to Germany for one Young World Conference, we may not have money to attend ECOSOC Youth Council in the New York, we may not have money to attend a whole lot of them there. But if we can have civil organizations, civil societies that can come together to go to rural communities to talk to young people, to mentor them, definitely their potentials will maximize and the decisions they make will be effective. So we really need these organizations to come together. Enough of coming to the boardroom to talk about so many things. We come to conferences all over the world. We talk about how young people can make impact. We talk about it and go. So enough of the talking and going conference. This is it's high time we went into communities, find those young people that have got potentials and mentor them. So one of the crucial roles civil
Mm.
organizations needs to play is mentorship. It's mentorship. I grew up in a rural community here in Enugu where I've never believed I can do something of this nature. I've never believed that I can come up and leading young people. In fact, I was one of these days, I think last 2 weeks, asking myself, am I the one doing this, connecting with many people? For you to have, also have Sharon on this call is just it's because of the connections we have made, how we have shared our ideas, our shared vision. So I kept asking myself, how was I able to do this? And I found that not just because of my background, because if I should attribute it to my background, that means I'm lying, because my background constrained me not to do something of this nature. But due to rules civil organizations have played in my life, I now find that yes, even though I come from a background that restricted me, I have been mentored by people, and I think it's now high time for me to mentor others. So last year,
I
I
love
joined an
that.
international career coaching program that was anchored by Dr. Akan from Lancaster University and some of our mentors across Africa. So that was where they told us that we can make impact as young people, that you can do this, you can do that, you can seek for funding, you can network. In fact, you don't allow your background to restrict you. So it was from this mentorship I underwent through these personalities from this civil organization, Lancaster Enterprise and Career Enterprise, that opened my mindset to what I am doing today. So if young people must maximize their potential, civil organization has got a crucial and paramount role to play. It's not negotiable. If we really want to achieve the Africa of our dream, from Kenya, East Africa, Uganda, to West Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, to Tanzania, back in East Africa, to North Africa, to all the African nations, we have got to have great minds, role models that will come up to shape and model the decisions we take. And I'm so happy that today young people have somebody like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala they are looking up to. They have Chimamanda Adichie. We have Thomas Sankara, blessed memory. We have Nkrumah Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana. We have Nyerere, first president of Tanzania. We have the likes of Ngugi wa Thiong'o from Kenya. A lot of them from all over the African shore. We have Nelson Mandela from South Africa. So these men have set the precedents for us to follow. So we are now following their roles, knowing that greater Africa is possible. So if we really want to maximize the role, the potential of young people, first, civil organizations must play a role of mentorship and training. Role models must play a role of leading the way for them to see. And lastly, government and international officials must come in to fund us because we don't have the whole money. Just as we are planning
Thank
Yalcon and
you
all that,
so
we may not
much.
have the money, but government has got a role to play to come in and fund us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'll just repeat it shortly. You say even if the background, because the background is like that, it's not a reason not to move forward. So the civil society, the government, they have to play their role. And it's not about waiting for someone to do. You can also raise your voice and say, hey guys, let's start something. Because it's not a one way. You are ready for that. So when the opportunity came, you formed something together. And you are reaching out on small scale to individuals, and then on a higher scale together. Now with Sharon, you have a higher voice, and you can create even more impact together. Thank you so much. Before Sharon continues and add something on that, Ikenna, you only mentioned the male president. Sharon, we need a woman president in Africa. We have one in Tanzania, right?
We have one
Now we have
in
one in
Tanzania,
Tanzania.
yes, and in Namibia as well. And we
Yes,
also
we
have
have
In
we have
Namibia,
one
Prime
yes.
currently.
Minister in Ethiopia.
Namibia is currently a female.
Amazing, amazing. And Sharon, that's now a
Yeah?
challenge to
Yes,
you.
in
We need such
Tanzania.
voices.
Mama
Very good, very good.
Samia Suluhu. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Sharon, do you have something to add on what Ikenna said?
Yes, yes. Yeah, I think if I was to add anything to, can you hear me?
Now it's good again.
Yes, we
Continue.
can hear you.
If I was to add anything to what Ikenna, yeah, if I was to add anything, I think the government, there has been a lot of initiatives in the past to try and involve youth, but a lot of times at the table and not we have been representation, and it's been youth representation. I saw a meme going round of youth in Kenya. I think youth members say in the East African and whatever. And sometimes the young people that you see, maybe they're young at heart, they may not be young, may not be within the legal youth bracket. And another thing is that yet the bunch of youth or young, what we call young people in Africa, such a huge pool, meaning of people get the same chance other people. So I think we need to move towards action and not just applause and say, yeah, we involved 5 young people. They could be the same 5 young people being involved in projects, say in agriculture, in health. Youth that
We're
I
losing you
really
now.
like about, say, platforms such as Yalcon or Yalgates, that we are now moving from, say, the cities. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we lost you a bit. We lost you a bit. But like the main message I got from you, what I love to
Oh,
repeat is
sorry.
coming away, coming into action. Not just saying we want to, we really support, but doing it, turning it into action. And you've just also mentioned the Yalcon conference. Sharon, will you
Yes.
go there?
Yes, yes, I would. I will be going to Nigeria, and what is interesting is that it will be my first time in Nigeria, and I'm not going to Abuja or Lagos. I am going to a small state called Enugu. One thing that also needs to happen is that we need to decentralize these opportunities so that they can reach young people on the ground. And one fun fact for you, Susan, Enugu is the hometown of Chimamanda Adichie. So we would be
Ah,
in,
great.
states where great people come from. So I think giving opportunities or making sure these opportunities are taken advantage of by young people in whatever area they are. It is interesting that even with digitalization, a lot of young people in Africa are still disadvantaged, and they do not get the chances to sit in tables,
Sure.
to be able to make decisions or even contribute to decisions that shape their day-to-day lives. So we are trying to change that, and through Yalcon, through Yalgi as a platform, to uh, have everybody on the table, and everybody gets a chance to, yeah, put up their hands and say, guys, I have a point, and then we'll see how that fits into the bigger picture. So yes, I'm very excited about going to Nigeria in September, and meeting even Ikenna in person, someone that we have really worked together virtually, and getting to finally shake hands and say, oh, so you are the man making all this difference, not just in Nigeria and beyond. So I'm really excited, and all the young people that will
Love,
be there,
love
yeah,
that.
in Enugu State. Yeah,
Love that. We have to decentralize that. So go to small
yeah.
towns too. Even with this infrastructure and what we've come far, but yeah, you are so right. There are people who have not heard of these possibilities, and we have to go also to the areas where they are, let them know. Wow, wonderful, wonderful. Now, Yankon Conference, how do people who are here, who are listening, including me, how can we support you? Did you ever think of that?
Is
The
that
Yalcon Conference.
Yes, yes. If that question is directed to me, I will take it. So there are a number of ways that, for example, young people can join us in the Yalcon conference. It is an open conference, open to all young people in Africa and beyond. We have a platform also called YALGI, which means Young African Leaders for Global Impact. And a lot of times we highlight what young people are doing all over the continent, all over the world. Mostly we highlight people of African descent, and the impact they are doing, not just in their hometowns, but people are doing making impact way, way far from where they were born, some in Canada, in the UK, here in Africa. And so we
Mm-hmm.
invite everybody to be part of the algae. We have our social media pages, like here on LinkedIn. Anyone is welcome to follow. We also invite our partners to join us and fund us. As you know, as young people, we have the strength, we have the vision, we have the courage, and a lot of times we need resources to enable us achieve or realize the goals that we are meant to achieve. And for the Alcon conference, we are in need of partners to work with us, partners that can provide mentorship services, partners that can enable us, get spaces, the conference center that we need to, accommodation. We are hoping to at least drink something as we speak. It's a day conference and so on. So we really invite partners to partner with us in any way. It could be through financial resources, it could be through providing mentors. Yeah, it could be through, in cash, in kind. And we're really looking forward to working with any partner that has the interest of youth at heart, people that are keen to move from applause and saying we want to do this with the young people to actually doing this with young people. Yeah, and it's not just we just don't want to end it at the conference. We want to work with youth in Africa to be at the forefront of realizing or to take advantage of the opportunities that are presented to us today. Talk of the African Free Trade Continental Area, talk about the opportunities that are coming up, and we need people to walk the journey with us, partners to walk that journey with us and enable us to realize the kind of vision that we have. Yeah.
Love, love that. Dear Sharon, there are a lot of possibilities how we can support you from afar. And you are inviting also the youth to join you, to work with you, to make this possible. And it won't end with that. It's just a conference, meet. But after that, you still have a lot of programs connecting youth internationally in Africa. Love, love that. Now, looking at the time, 2 minutes left. Ikenna, why should someone listening, a youth listening, join you? Why should that person join you? Let us know in 2 sentences, not more.
We come from different backgrounds, and we need people to hold our hands to get to where we want to be in life. You cannot do it on your own. You need organizations like this to empower your voice, to support you, and to give you the funding you need to achieve what you want to achieve. Yalcon is here. We'll do the talking on 13th. The next 3 months, we'll go into full mentorship to train you and mentor you. And by January, February, we look at what you want to do in your community. And by March, we'll give you funds from our international partners and collaborators. So we are here to ensure that your background don't limit you from becoming what you want to become. Join us and see a transformative journey in your life and career. We are deeply grateful. Thank you so much.
Amazing. That's a real, real message. You answered it so well. So if you're listening, Joy, you cannot walk alone, and there are many choices. Oh my God, many possibilities, and one of them is Yalcon Youth Conference. Wow, thank you so much, Iken. I love it. Time is over, but I have this question for you, and I'd love to hear your perspective from the youth, Ikenna and Sharon. Tini is asking, I'd kindly love to ask a question. How can we help our youth to make decisions from a place of purpose rather than pressure? That's a very good one, a very good question. From pressure to it has to be purposeful, right?
Happens.
Yeah. So anyone would
Yeah.
love to answer that?
Yeah. I think I will go first and draw from my experience as a learning and development expert. I think a lot of times when you have enough information to make a decision, it takes off the pressure of maybe making the wrong decision or the right decision. So the challenge with that in the current world we live in is there is a lot of misinformation out here. And what that does, it actually creates more pressure instead of helping you make decisions from a place of purpose. I think having trusted platforms like Alcon, like any other platform, where you know that the information that is shared there is, I would say, peer reviewed or has been tested and tried would enable young people to make the right decision. Also, just owning and reaching out to people that have been there, done that through mentors, or just consulting through coaches and saying, I do not know what to do in this and this case, can give you the opportunity or can give people the opportunity to work with you. I think there are a lot of people that are willing to work with the youth. And I think as young people, we should be willing to ask, we should be ready to ask. And because their lives, I think as you grow older, you realize lives just gets busier. You should take the initiative and ask. And even if they forget, when you grow older, somehow you forget things. Please follow up, ask people, request, be nice about it, respect people's times and spaces, but ask for the help. And a lot of people are willing to help. So don't be afraid to ask and find the right resources through the right platforms, and that will help you make informed decisions, lessening the pressure from you. Maybe if Ikenna has something to add.
Thank you so much, Sharon. That's so powerful, so powerful. Ikenna, please add something if you have.
Yeah,
From
I
pressure
wouldn't want
to
to take much of our time, but I would say that it's very paramount for young people to make decisions from people the place of purpose rather than pressures. So what you need to ask yourself before you make certain decisions is, why am I where I am today? What do I really want to achieve for myself? So it is very paramount to ask yourself, who do I want to become in the nearest future? So it's not just about, let me give an example. When I was in the university, I wanted to graduate as the best. I want to, maybe I don't need distraction and all that. But there are sometimes my mates are going for maybe a extracurricular activity. They are maybe going for party and all that. The pressure will become very intense for me. I will have to choose whether I need to go for this or prepare for the lecture I have tomorrow or prepare for the assessment I have tomorrow. So at that moment, I need to make decision based on my purpose and not on pressure. So when pressures compounds, ask yourself, where am I going to? Is this decision I'm making now in line and in tandem with where I want to be in the nearest future? When you have asked those questions, you will realign your purpose and get the right decision. So thank you very much.
also very powerful. You have to get clarity of yourself first. Yeah. Who am I now?
Exactly.
Who am I? Who do I want to be? Who can take me there? Now comes the community thing Sharon said. Get yourself out of the community that's dragging you down, identify that pressure and move to that place of purpose. So Sharon, Ikenna, powerful. Thank you so much for answering Tini's question. Also a powerful question, because that's where we start from. If you ask a question, a genuine question, there are many genuine people who are going to help you. So thank you also for that
Exactly.
question. Where can we get the Yalcon conference? Do you have a website or is this just on LinkedIn company page?
Yeah, we have a website for the Yakon conference, and by next week or two, every detail of the conference will be on the
All
website,
right.
and we'll have to reach out to also we'll make it public.
All right. Okay. Right. You guys, we are running out of time. Last thing from I'd love to hear from you. Our theme was the power of choice, right? What is that? Was oh no, I'll ask differently. What would you love to give to the community, whether younger than you or older than you, regarding the power of choice? Just that last word, last sentence today. What would you love to give the community regarding the power of choice? We make the choices and we own that. So maybe the last word today.
A parting shot from
Mm,
me would be you
well,
are a
I will
product of your choices.
Sorry, can I shortly, Sharon, please continue. Come up again.
I said, what I would say is that you are a product of your choices. So the choices that you make today would influence who you will become tomorrow. So, and I think another thing is that it's better to just make a choice. Do not be caught in a situation where you are indecisive. Yeah, make a choice. Whatever, if you fail, you will learn. If you win, I mean, you win. So, yeah, just do it. Do it.
Just do it and remember you're a product of a choice.
Yeah.
That's so powerful. That's so powerful.
Choice.
Ikenna,
Yeah.
what's yours?
Yeah.
The choices we make, whether we like it or not, have a way of influencing our future being. So it's always good to make the right choices and ensure you have one of the things that will make allow you to do that is have an accountability partner. Have someone that walk the journey with you. Have someone that assess what your progress so far. Don't forget, whether the choices are good or they are bad, you will live to bear the consequences. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, with these words, nothing to add. I leave you very powerful,
Thank
dear
you.
Sharon, dear Ikenna, and dear Victoria. Sorry you couldn't join because of the technical problems, but I highly appreciate you. And for me, as an older person, I'm so grateful. And for me, now the future is bright. Looking at you, my goodness, thank you so, so much. So, see you at the backstage,
Thank you
Ikenna
very
and Sharon,
much.
Thank you
and dear
so much.
community. See you soon again. Next week, I'll be here with Karin. That will be now in German. It's good that sometimes we have more than one language to speak. So, see you at the backstage. See you soon, dear community.
Thank you very much. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.